welcome to the first episode of the Down to Get Weird podcast, which I understand is a bad podcast name. I will also say I don't know of any really good podcast names.
If you
well, hold on. Don't talk until I introduce you. So that might be something that we end up engaging in is to start this podcast is the naming of a podcast and kind of what this whole thing is. But my guest over here is, don't talk until I say your name. I've known him for a little while. He's very good at Chris Farley impressions. I'm blanking on anything else. But longtime friend. We first met when I was roughly 4, rolling around the wrestling room. He was hold on, I think that's my phone. Very unprofessional of me. When his dad was my youth wrestling coach at a very young age, first coach, and then I always thought it was weird that his dad was the coach and he wasn't very good at wrestling at that point. And then he became a very successful wrestler. He is now the head coach at Lincoln East High School, co-head coach with somebody else who will be on the podcast later, Jeff Rutledge. So if he was here, he could say something because I just said his name. But he's a dashing young man. And so I'm going to introduce my guest, Keenan McCurdy, first guest on the Down to Get Weird podcast, which,
I can finally talk.
Now you can talk. Yeah.
After that 78-minute intro.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes. So
it was a good intro. Hey, great first intro,
Thank you. So I've wanted my podcast. This has been in the works for a while, and we actually do a podcast called Rick the Rasslin Dad and His Boys. So he is Rick the Rasslin Dad.
Post-production plug like a little sound.
Yeah, we'll do that for sure. Rick the Rasslin Dad and His Boys. I'll link all that down below. Keenan is the internet star Rick the Rasslin Dad. If you just look that up on Facebook and YouTube or Instagram, you will see the videos have like 5-point-some million views. I just totaled them up not long ago.
I mean, what really qualifies an internet star? Like, what do you need to be an
if you get recognized in public?
I don't get recognized in public.
You literally got recognized last week, bro. How many people recognized you as Rick the Rasslin Dad last week? You got free pass. You got like free coaching passes because you're Rick the Rasslin Dad.
A niche environment. Niche?
It's French.
Is it French?
I believe so.
A niche environment. Known as a youth wrestling tournament, which is the scourge of all the earth.
Very true.
Does not count as public.
And that is public. That's not the first time you've been recognized as Rick the Rasslin Dad. So let's actually get into this Rick the Rasslin Dad. This will be our first topic. It was something that we did 2 years ago. Started it 2 years ago.
Yep.
First video, I remember posting it.
Maybe 3 years ago now.
No, it was the year before I started doing the team vlogs.
Okay.
So with this being said, I also have coached at Lincoln East High School. I didn't last year, but I did 5 years before that. Before that.
And you're back in the mud.
And I'm back in the grind.
Yep.
I'm back in the room.
As Bubba Sparks would say, you're guys, back in the mud.
And here's what's upsetting. Guys just keep getting better on our team, and I just keep getting older and more out of shape.
Well.
Yeah, it's very true. Like the first 4 years of my coaching wasn't really an issue. That 5th year, I was going through quite a grind. But
so you're just saying that
I'm deteriorating and they're getting better.
Are matching up with your hairline. There's a direct relationship.
Yes. Yep.
Your lung capacity is
the more hair I lose, the harder it is to wrestle, I would say.
Yeah. Your lung capacity is in direct correlation with your hairline.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. And waistline. And the waistline.
That would be, I believe, an inverse correlation.
It's like, how can someone deteriorate into not that I was at all attractive before.
Well,
but like,
hey, don't
everything
you dare.
about me is getting so much less attractive.
No, don't you dare.
Which is a good thing.
You're getting a seasoning. You're getting a ripe seasoning to you that just it's a desirable quality. You're you're turning into a bit of a silver fox. I don't know. The beard's graying up a little bit. It's looking good.
To be a silver fox, you have to have silver hair, and I have no hair.
You got kind of the red, silverish beard thing going on.
Yeah, but that's kind of just normal. Okay, so back to this Rick the Rasslin Dad thing. I wanna get Keenan's insight on this. We've actually never spoken about the emergence of Rick the Rasslin Dad and what that was like. I remember Keenan's the star of it, and
co-starring. None other than Drew.
Well, I was his son, Timmy.
Sitting right next to me. Yeah.
Yes.
My son, my boy, Timmy.
Going grinding today. Yeah. No, and so, but then I would edit them and post them, and so then I was editing it and posted it, and I was like, "Hey, it's live." And I posted the first one at practice, and then when we left practice, I shared it on Facebook. He didn't even share it on Facebook, and with that, it got shared a little bit more, and by like a little late that night, I want to say probably 2 or 3 hours after it was posted, it was already at like 11,000 views, something like that. And we thought like, oh, this will probably get a couple thousand views. So it was 11,000 within a few hours. By that time, the next day, it was at like 160. And then like the third video we posted hit 1 million.
Yeah. Facebook is the perfect setup for like a niche, sort of like a niche, group of people sharing something to other people that they know are going to like it and then also share it as well.
Yeah. Well, YouTube links don't work because then you have to click on something and then go to another page and it has to load. Yeah. Whereas with Facebook, it just kind of plays through. And so I remember being like, this is insane.
It was weird.
What is going on? Like, we knew it was funny, but we were like...
When all of a sudden thousands of comments are happening within like hours, it's like, this is weird. What is going on?
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy who owns a social media marketing company, and I showed him that, and he's like, how much money did you put behind this? And we're like, none. He's like, you didn't promote this at all. And we're like, no. And we have 15,000 like followers from 6 videos.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's crazy. He's like, I mean, there's videos that have gone way more viral than that for sure. But
and that's
for the wrestling community. Like my roommate Caleb Kolb, shout out C Smooth. He's from Pennsylvania.
C Smooth. Oh wow.
Yeah,
what up, C Smooth?
C Smooth. He's from Pennsylvania, and he was getting like, he had people on his Facebook page like sharing it, and he was like, dude, people who don't know you or know that I know you are sharing this. And then our trainer at Lincoln East High School, shout out, was like, yeah, I'm in a online training, or not, like a Facebook group for trainers. And she's like, a bunch of people were posting this, like, oh, this is crazy. Like, our coaches are like this. And she's like, those are my coaches. Those are the coaches at my school. And like, they couldn't believe it. Yeah, that was a weird time to just be like, when is this going to stop? How many views are coming? And then, I don't know. And so then from that, you started a podcast.
It's funny because, we happened to strike gold with this one particular idea, which then we tried to kind of reproduce and come up with a couple different ideas, and nothing hit quite as that's the interesting thing about a viral video is you got to have a very specific target that just happens to land and hit home with people with thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and then it just goes crazy. And some of the other stuff we did was funny to us, very funny to us, in some ways probably more funny to us than that one particular video, but it didn't resonate as much with other people. That's the interesting thing I think about a viral video is, like, for whatever reason, that coaching video that we did where we made fun of the way that coaches coach, it's just, it was too true to life is the problem.
Yeah.
And so
for this,
you'll have to put the link down there.
Yeah, just links down below right now. But context to it, we did, one of the videos has like 3.6 million views, and then the other 5 together have like 1 point something.
Yeah.
I don't know. but 1.8 or 1.9, and it was it was just that was a interesting time to have that feeling. Like I feel like there's some times where you go through something where, like, if you have a dream that you meet like your favorite celebrity, and you hang out with them, and then you wake up and you thought it was real, but then you wake up and you're like, oh, that wasn't real. I still believe the feeling of like hanging out with them, because you did it. I remember once.
Do you?
Dude, let me preface this with an embarrassing story. Okay.
You don't know how
I
they
think
would
no,
act.
you know the feel. Like if you, so have you seen the videos of people winning the lottery? Like they fake that their friend wins the lottery. Like they get yesterday's stuff, like the day before it's recording, and then they're like, hey, you should buy a lottery ticket or whatever, and they stage it to where the person thinks they know they win the lottery. I'm like, that person literally knows the feeling of winning the lottery. Now,
But
they didn't win the lottery, but they know what it feels like. Now, let me preface this with a story.
okay, all right, go ahead.
When chat roulette.
Oh, do not go
Hold
chat
on.
roulette.
Hold on. When chat roulette
Dude.
started to become a thing, me and one of my buddies, actually, I think two of my
That
buddies.
never became a thing.
It was a thing.
No,
It's still a thing.
It's not a thing, nor has it ever been a
There
thing.
was a lot of interesting stuff on
No, yeah.
Yeah, but my like best high school friends, Josh Heiliger, Tim Marti, we were like watching. We were on chat roulette downstairs in my basement, and Jessica Alba pops up,
Oh,
and
my
we were
God.
like,
you told me this story
I
like
know.
15
And
years ago, and
it was
still
literally her, and we like chatted. And
It wasn't her.
It wasn't her, but for about a minute and a half, I swore. I was getting like that feeling. I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know what to do. I was like, and then I found out it wasn't her, but I do know the feeling of
No,
chat
you
rouletting
don't.
with Jessica Alba.
You know the feeling of what it feels like to think that you might
it's the
be.
same
No,
thing.
it is different.
It's the same
It's
thing.
different. If you were in person and Jessica Alba walked up to you on the street, and
I'd
she's
be like, yo, remember that time we
no,
had?
no, you wouldn't, because
No,
you weren't sure that it was the real Jessica Alba.
I realized that it isn't Jessica, that I didn't speak to Jessica Alba, but I know the feeling as if I did.
Here's the difference. Let me break down the difference
all
for
right,
you.
I'm interested in
You
this.
thought that there was a strong possibility that you were talking to Jessica Alba. However, it was on some.
No, I knew I was talking to Jessica Alba.
No, see, that's where you're wrong.
I was 100%.
That's where you're wrong. You were on some sketchy web chat service that exploded for about 3 days before it got shut down as basically.
Don't talk about chat roulette.
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
and you thought, wow, there's a strong possibility I'm talking to Jessica Alba
I
right
did
now.
not think that.
What actually was the case was you were talking to some weird creepo, probably behind some Mission Impossible 2 mask that kind of sort of looked like Jessica Alba.
No.
But
here's what it was. It was a actual like video of Jessica Alba like on a webcam or whatever, but it wasn't her. It was
So
like a screen.
How was she
recording.
responding to you? With somebody
we were
else's
just
voice?
talking, and I was just like,
It was
like whatever. Not like
it was
how's your day, but it was. We were like having a weird like fan to famous person conversation.
It was pre-programmed responses like, "Hey Jessica, what are you having for dinner tonight? The weather outside is nice today."
No, it was someone behind it who just had their screen, who somehow just put up the screen of Jessica Alba on a computer, but like she was like that was happening. So it was actually her, because she didn't say like this is Jessica Alba. I was just like, and I was like, guys,
What was
guys,
she
guys,
saying?
guys, over here.
What was she saying back to you when you
like
asked her a
just
question?
normal stuff. Like we were having like a normal conversation.
Oh, it was keyboard chat?
Keyboard chat.
Oh.
Yeah. Because not everyone, on chat roulette, not everybody has the I'm a
that
chat
even
roulette
further
genius, by the
that
way.
even further influences my belief, my point that you didn't actually believe you were chatting with Jessica Alba, even though you wanted to believe that.
I was typing with Jessica Alba.
No.
So what I'm saying is
my
I
gosh.
believe that's an actual feeling. So I know that no one can take away the fact that I know the feeling of chatting with Jessica Alba.
Here's my argument that I'm making. You would have had a dramatically different feeling than you had in that moment if you walked up to Jessica Alba on the street, saw that it was actually her, and you're like chatting with her for like 30 seconds, you're like, this is actually Jessica Alba because I can see her with my own two eyes. She's standing right here.
Well, yeah,
There
that would
was
be
some doubt in
more
your
of an
mind.
interesting.
I am making the educated assumption that there was some doubt in your mind as to whether or not you were chatting with the real Jessica Alba.
There's no doubt. Dude, hold on. Let me take this for example, all right? Check this out.
Oh my gosh.
Let's say you're an athlete. I'm going to use a wrestling example. I know people who watch this maybe not know this.
I could probably use a basketball example because I'm.
Well, no. We'll use Kerry Kolop for example here. He was a wrestler who, in 4 straight world championships, had some crazy, terrible call happen to him in the sense that he would win a match and he left the mat, and then in the back room they rewatched the video and then they rescored it and he lost. Okay, so that kind of pretty much happened to him 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
Long story short. So it happened to him, and when that happens, it's like he knows that he won, and he did win, and he has that feeling of winning. But did he actually win? No. Someone else said, no, that's not what happened.
Well,
although he knows the feeling of that.
In that instance, he did actually win. He did win for 45 minutes.
That's what he thought.
No, he won for until the match was overturned. He was the winner. So he did win. In your instance, you never actually talked to Jessica Alba. He did actually win the match. At this
point, I'm pretty sure I didn't talk to Jessica Alba. Okay, I'll admit that. I'll admit I was a little duped. But I know the feeling of it.
For 45 minutes or an hour or however long it was until they overturned the decision, he actually did win the match. So he rightfully had the feeling of winning because he did win. And until they decided to change the result. They literally changed the result.
I was talking to Jessica Alba until I wasn't talking to Jessica Alba. I once had a dream with Taylor Swift that we were just like walking through a garden, not like holding hands or anything, just like hanging. But I woke up and I was like, oh, I know what that's like.
That wasn't the real.
I was nervous and stuff. I felt all that. She's way taller than me too, which is, yeah, like that's when I knew in the dream it wasn't gonna work out.
Really?
Yeah.
The only time you knew was once you found out how tall she was.
Once I dreamt about her.
You didn't think like,
well,
hey, wow,
she was taller, but then I was like standing next to her. I was like, oh.
You weren't. The thought never crossed your mind of like, man, wow, this is Taylor Swift and she's just hanging out with me like I'm a celebrity.
Yeah.
And not a normal person. That wasn't an indicator.
Exactly.
Before it was the height. No,
it was literally the dream, and I was like, oh, she's too tall.
Oh my god. It
had nothing to do with my status as a person.
Sense. Yeah,
or anything like
okay.
that.
So here's the problem, though. You thought that you were hanging out with Taylor Swift, correct?
In my dream, I 100% knew I was hanging out with Taylor Swift.
In your dream. And that right there is the crucial key word of the statement. In my dream. Taylor Swift, in your dream, would not react like she would in real life. She would not say the same things that she would say in real life.
We don't know that because I haven't hung out with Taylor Swift.
Well, I think it's pretty safe to say that your dream version of Taylor Swift is a far cry from the actual Taylor Swift.
But that's probably anyone who meets a celebrity out in public or something like that. Like, that's not the actual person.
So the point,
but yet they have met them. Boom.
The point in that scenario, though, is let's hypothetically suppose that.
And she wouldn't, if I met Taylor Swift and we like became friends and I was like, hey, I remember that time that we were like, I met you. And she'd be like, oh, yeah. Like, she wouldn't know because she's met so many people.
She wouldn't.
Yeah.
She wouldn't. Taylor's got a laser-focused, sharp memory.
No.
I guarantee she probably does.
She remembers all those.
How does she remember all the lyrics?
She remembers all the boys who've broken her heart.
Well.
In that sense.
Tear strings on her guitars. That's really what she remembers. Here's the thing.
Oh, hold on. Teardrops on my guitar. What's the name?
Tear strings, teardrops, whatever.
What's the name? The first name that comes out in that video?
You're thinking of the wrong song.
Who looks at her?
You're thinking of the wrong song.
No, it's Drew Looks at Me.
Drew Looks at Me.
Yep. That's Teardrops on my guitar. Guaranteed. Look, I'm pulling it up right now.
It was more elongated sentence.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
Prove my point.
Here's the deal. You don't know that Taylor Swift would have acted the exact same way in real life as she did in your dream. Therefore, you cannot know what the actual feeling of hanging out with Taylor Swift is actually like because it wouldn't be like what you experienced. The feeling that you had was a falsified Taylor Swift. You know what? Dare I say it was a lesser version of the real Taylor Swift, because you probably can't imagine even in your dreams the amount of greatness.
I feel like you're pretending like you know Taylor Swift, and this is not how she'd act. So, and that's wrong.
I do a bit.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to what this podcast is really about, and that is aliens.
Really?
Yeah, I just want to get you real quick. Just give me, what do you think?
That's funny because I wasn't
into it that much,
prefaced. I wasn't prepped on the fact that we were going to be talking about aliens.
We didn't.
Tonight.
We're flying off the seat of our pants because we just got this. Actually, we just got the whole podcast stuff set up. This is also going to be the podcast location for the Richter Rasslin Dad and his boys podcast, but we're having issues with the quality of the video.
Yeah,
so
big
we're gonna
issues.
Apologize for that. If you're just listening, which is great, then you should have no issues, other than the fact that we're just babbling on about nonsense. But the video, we're hopefully going to get that figured out.
Yeah.
We'll get that figured out, but it's not bad. We got a better lighting setup. It's just going to be an overall better setup here. So.
Knock down, drag 'em out brawl between your podcast hosts tonight, because I wasn't satisfied with the video quality settings. We're having some technical difficulties trying to get things ironed out. But you know what? Onward shall we move.
Yep. And I was just like, let's just do this. We got to do this first podcast because I haven't done it. And Keenan was going to be my first guest anyways. So it's kind of working out that way. It's kind of working out pretty good.
I was going to be your first guest.
Well, and you were going to be anyways, and you were here and we had it set up. So.
And now I am actually your first guest.
Back on. I just want quick. We're just going to go. I'm just going to rapid fire.
You
just got to say yes or no.
Hit me with them.
Maybe not yes or no, but just give me like a one sentence.
Okay.
Aliens.
They have been pretty solid in the film roles that they have been involved in.
Okay. Wow. All right. Chupacabra.
Possible, yet not probable.
Bigfoot. Sasquatch, Yeti, Yowie. I mean, I can keep naming them. The skunk ape.
The skunk ape?
Or wait, what's the one in Orang Pendek? That one's in Indonesia.
If Bigfoot is an individual animal / life form, then yes, I believe that he is possibly out there. If he is, as you say...
Wow. Well, assuming Bigfoot's gender already.
Or she.
Or Zer, hear him. Okay, well, we'll pass on that. But you think there's one?
If like you say, like there are multiple hey, you're rapid firing the questions. I'm rapid firing the answers.
Yeah, this is like a longer version of it.
So
just give me a summary, because we got more.
You're wrong.
We got more to get through.
If he is a species of multiple animals, like you say, then no, I don't believe he's
species of
I don't
multiple.
I don't believe he exists, or she.
Okay, we're gonna have to dig into that a little bit more later and kind of untangle those wires. But Loch Ness and other lake monsters / sea creatures,
legit
of that sense. Really?
Yeah, I don't really prefer to call them monsters because they're not monsters.
All right. Well, hey, we'll get into that later. Maybe not this podcast. What was he? Who shot JFK?
No.
Maybe not necessarily the who, but what's your overall? I just like to get the base stances so I know where to tell you you're wrong.
The second shooter on the grassy knoll.
Okay. Interesting. That's very textbook of you. Are dinosaurs still alive today? And I don't mean alligators or anything that we know of. That is like pretty well established.
Then no.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
What do you mean by pretty well established?
Like something that we have.
It's not like there's like high society animals and low society animals.
No, well, I do feel like raccoons.
The old Brachiosaurus rolls into the club.
I do feel like
at the high rollers
possums
table.
And raccoons are a little bit lower on the socioeconomic.
They are a little bit
standing of animals, whereas potentially a dog and or like birds are a little higher. Certain coastal gulls.
Yep.
More. Okay. Last one. What's going on at Area 51 kind of ties into the first one.
Well, there's been a lot of live streams going on.
There's been some new stuff lately.
I think there's some weird government shiz going on down there, but I don't think it has to do with aliens. That's my personal thoughts.
Okay. What would be like, let's say, what's the biggest potential conspiracy that you believe in the most? That you're like, you know what? I could actually see that.
Gosh, you're really putting me on the spot here. Probably for me, I've done a fair amount of, I don't know, we'll call it armchair research on John F. Kennedy's death. I think that's the most plausible for me. I think the second shooter, I think that's pretty legit.
So the Warren Commission, which was the people who did the first investigation or whatever, and came back with just Lee Harvey Oswald.
Mm-hmm.
They had somebody go through that and redo it again. Some government agency, and their official report after that was an armed government official, like 2 or 3 cars behind, is the one who actually shot him on accident. He was holding a gun, fell forward, shot it, and hit him right in the back.
Well, the trajectory of the bullet does not line up even remotely close with where they think.
So that's like the second official report that they redid. So essentially, the official report is 2 people did shoot him, and one of them was just on accident, and that's how he died like that.
I just think there's
I don't believe that at all necessarily.
It's a conspiracy that makes sense to me from the standpoint of there was way too many things that even in the aftermath and what happened with Lee Harvey Oswald, as far as how he was shot and everything that went down with him, there's just way too many things that stack up in favor of him not being the only party at play. The other thing that I think that makes sense to me logically is if I'm going to get into a conspiracy, what I need a logical reason for said conspiracy or for the cover-up.
Okay.
And for me, it makes sense that if the Russian mafia or something, or there was some
like
larger, if there was some larger parties at play, it logically makes sense to me as to why, like the Warren Commission or why the government would, in essence, want to keep some of that quiet as to not cause a world war or just mass hysteria or things like that. Well, at the
same, very similar time is when Martin Luther King got killed, and they did come out. There was a court case that proved that the government had a hand in killing Martin Luther King Jr., but that was after the court case happened. It was somewhat covered up, obviously, because most people don't know that. Okay, I'm going to transition here. This is a nice little transition. There are rumors that Woody Harrelson's father was a hitman and he was involved in the JFK assassination. That is a theory that's out there, and there's evidence to support said theory.
Wow, that's you hit me with a new
very
one
interesting.
There.
We're going to transition Woody Harrelson into Zombieland.
Oh,
okay.
Zombieland 2 just came out.
I know, and I do want to see it as Kristen. No, wait, no. No, Kristen Stewart wasn't in that. She was in the other movie with that dude, with the Facebook guy. Forget his name. But Kristen Stewart. What's up? What's good? Zombies. Give me the city you would. Where would you go? Let's say it breaks out in a day. Where are you going? And how big of a circle are you going to draw around your people? In the sense of how many people are you going to bring in? Who's getting cut off? Who's making the list? Who's not making the list?
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to be honest. I don't like to give you much credit. Actually, I'm pretty against that just on principle.
Yes, as you should.
However, you would absolutely make my cut for my zombie warrior army, because most people maybe a lot of people know this about you. Maybe most people don't know it to the depths that I know it about you. You are about the most low-class human being on the face of the planet.
I
Second
appreciate that.
only to myself.
Yes.
Oh, so
we
you
will
admit
live,
it.
We will live in
You admit it.
wait, what's the
Squalor.
Squalor.
You
And love it. And have like the best time.
You can live about as inexpensively and uncomfortably as is humanly possible in the way of modern human comfort. It's like, I mean, you probably like to have a blanket, maybe like some couch cushions to sleep on, but you're not above doing that in the bathtub if need be. If you've got, you probably don't want to sleep on the hard bathtub, but if you had a couple couch cushions to put in the bathtub, you're good.
This might be the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me. I'll be honest.
Yeah, well,
I haven't got a lot of nice compliments in my life.
It's from the heart.
And I believe
it's from the heart.
So where we going? We got a compound? What are we doing?
Oh man, yeah, we'll probably have to develop some sort of. I mean, you can always go Walking Dead style, where they go to the prison. You find some way to wall yourself in.
I think a high school.
Yeah,
that's high big. School. You got a lot of entry exit ways you got to cover.
A lot of entries and exits. Yeah, I mean, you want to go somewhere where zombies are typically terrible climbers. So you want to go somewhere where you can get to the high ground.
You get a vantage point.
You get a vantage point. You get to the high ground. And you want to have somewhere where you can, have some safeguarded areas that if one area does get infected, you can seal that area off. That is the reason why a high school might be nice. You got a lot of spots where you can seal off doors and different wings.
Well, they got those they got the school shooter doors now,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So if a school shooter can't get in,
some
mindless
zombies
zombie
are really
ain't getting
struggle.
in, unless they just kind of hammer away at it for a long time.
I think a nice place would be Shields. A lot of weapons.
Dude, you know where I'm going? Hoxie, Kansas, bro.
Really?
Dude, no one's in Hoxie,
I don't know
Kansas.
though, man. If you look at
you know
a
how
lot
many
of
guns to people are in Hoxie, Kansas? Zombies don't know how to use
High
guns,
ratio.
so you just start looting. First off, Hoxie, Kansas, that's where my brother lives now. There's no one around. There's nothing for miles.
I'm a big compound bow guy. I'd be more like Daryl from The Walking Dead. I'm not a big firearms guy.
I know.
I probably could get into it if I was trained on it.
My bro's got bows.
I know.
Those are legal, right?
Bros and
so
bows.
I can say that?
Dude, maybe we started another podcast called Bros and Bows.
Bros and bows.
Dude, Ryan could be our first guest.
There we go.
Anyway, I don't know. I wouldn't. Yeah.
You got to go rural, man. You can't be like.
I don't know, though. You look at a lot of zombie films, a lot of zombie, fictionalization. I mean, stuff that's outside of the real zombie world. And you see a lot of depictions of stuff going down in the rural areas.
I know, but there's not that many people there. I think there's only like 12 people that live in that whole county.
That's the problem, though.
And my brother and his wife and their 3 kids, going to be 4 kids. That's like half of them.
That's the problem, though, is if you have a gaggle of zombies coming through, which most people don't know, that's the technical term for multiple zombies coming through, and they're sweeping through the area. They can, they have a heightened sense of hearing, obviously, because they kind of do. They can hear movement. And things like that.
Like in lights.
Yeah, lights and so. They're going to gravitate towards, there's not a lot going on in those rural areas. They're going to gravitate towards the areas where people are.
I know, it's good. Now we have no zombies.
No, that's bad.
Chilling.
You have zombies coming to the 5 people that are in that town.
No, but.
Yeah, and you're one of them.
Yeah, and there's 6 zombies because nobody lives there. You're out in a rural area. I feel like you'd want to go rural. You wouldn't want to go. I mean, it'd be nice to, like loot in Urban Outfitters or like Lady Foot Locker or something. Get some new threads.
Lady Foot Locker.
Yeah, but I mean, after that, now you got a lot of bodies to deal with.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I mean, if you could just kind of run past them, and if it's only a few of them, you're good.
Yeah, that's. I would get worried that if we get trapped in some sort of open field situation in a rural area, that's
the best.
No, that depends.
Free range to just. Slice it.
Yeah, but that's the problem is there's no obstructions for them. They just keep coming. It's like a flood. It's like a wave. But there's
just not many people. I don't know. All right. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we disagree on that. Dangerous. We'll figure that out when it comes. Last little thing I got, little hypothetical here. Okay. We didn't have anything planned coming to this podcast. This is just kind of riffing off the top, just to just get this first one out, kind of break the ice. And last thing I got for you. I saw this on Instagram, and it's quite interesting.
Hit me with it.
Would you take $10 million cash right now, but there's a snail that knows where you are at all times, and its only goal, you can't kill it, its only goal in life is to find you, and if it finds you and it touches you, you die. And it's like as the crow flies, so it doesn't have to like go over things, and you can't like put it in a box.
You're saying it can go through walls?
Yep. Yeah, this is like a weird snail, but it's really slow.
It can go through anything.
It can go through anything, but it's a snail, so
it can.
And it knows where you are, and that's its whole goal. And you can't kill it, you can't do anything to stop it. And if it touches you, you die.
So basically, I'm constantly,
You're constantly on the run.
I'm constantly moving and creating distance between myself and the snail.
Would you do it? And if you do it, because you get 10 million cash, what's your strat?
So, okay, I constantly am moving. I've got to put distance between myself and the snail. Yeah, you know what? Absolutely, I do it. I fly to China. Snail gets to China in like 15 years.
No, it takes 40 years. Back. I already figured it out.
4 years?
40.
40 years?
To go halfway across the world.
I'm in. I
fly
to
China.
No.
So you got to be in China for 40 years because if you right when you come back, it turns around and it's coming towards you.
Actually, if it's going to take a snail 40 years to go to China, then I don't even need to go to China. I fly. I have 2 homes. I have one home in Los Angeles. I have one home in New York. I fly back and forth. I wait until he's getting within
like 10 every 10 years.
Yeah, he's like, every 10 years I move. Oh, good job, Snail.
Man, it would be hard to think. 10 years like, you know what? I kind of lost track of time. It's been like 9.5. Like, where do you think that guy is?
It's pretty easy. I put a bunch of freaking those countdown clocks that you can get all over all my walls. I know exactly when he's coming.
Interesting.
Calculate
answer.
up his speed.
Okay.
Plus, he's gonna get tired. Freaking wear out.
No, he doesn't get tired.
He doesn't get tired.
He's
well, you didn't say that.
He's a cocaine-filled snail. Fueled snail.
I learned about the world's most dangerous drug today. Take a guess. What do you think it is?
Meth.
Methamphetamine.
Yeah.
And it can release 6 times the amount of dopamine that the normal human body can produce. And so, let's say you hop the snail up on meth. Does he travel 6 times faster?
That's what I'm wondering. That is a good question.
Does he travel faster? I don't know.
I'm gonna say no meth for the snail.
No meth for the snail. Okay, that's good.
Or it actually make it more interesting. But actually, the meth capital of the world is located in our very own Nebraska.
Seriously?
Yep. I'm not gonna say where it is, but you can Google that and look it up yourself. But
really,
yes, it is a county.
I've heard Hoxie, Kansas is pretty bad for meth. Mostly cooked at Ryan Etherton's house.
Yeah. All 6 people. All 6 people in the whole place.
No, yeah, I don't know. I would take it. I think it would be an interesting life.
It'd make your life real interesting.
I would have one home in Nebraska. I'd have a home somewhere down in Costa Rica on a beach. He'd have to go over freaking mountains. Well, I guess he can go through.
No, yeah, he goes through.
He goes through the mountains.
He goes through them.
Well, so how does that work then? He always is at sea level or what?
Yeah, he's always at sea level.
Well,
he can't go higher than sea level because then that's cheating. That's why flying's so fast. You know?
Yeah. I'd have a summer home in Costa Rica. I'd move there every summer, live for a couple months.
Yeah, back. But then he only makes it to like Beatrice, Nebraska. And then you come back and because I actually looked this up when I saw this because I really want to. No, you know what it is? You know what it is? Every 34 days he goes a mile.
The
average snail
rate of movement.
Yeah, it's every 34 days they go a mile.
Snails move at a proverbially low speed. 1 millimeter a second is a typical speed for adult Helix leucorum.
Yeah.
Leucorum.
So I did that math, and I believe, I don't know if that's the same one, but 34 days a mile. So, I mean, you could just go a mile, and it takes a month to get there.
1 millimeter a
I'm just
second.
saying, just believe me on this one. Believe me on this one.
Well, hold on. I'm going to verify your facts really quickly. 1 millimeter to inches is 0.039701. I'm going to convert that.
Okay. In the meantime,
I'm going to convert that really quickly to a mile.
In the meantime, here was my thought. And this was before I said if you could put a snail on a plane, I would let the snail board the said plane and then go to the back and then fly halfway across the world, land, then like go in, and then the snail gets off the plane. Then I just hop back on another plane and go back.
Mm-hmm.
But
Makes sense.
I don't know if that's within my parameters of the rules at this point. But that would be smart because then it takes like 40 years to get halfway across, and then I'm for sure going to be dead by then, so I can at least live.
Okay, so it's approximately 0.003. We'll round and say 3. 0.0033 foot per second is about what the snail moves
no
at.
one knows what that means.
Well, I know.
Put that in days or
it
hours.
wouldn't even let me do it in miles because it was like times 10 to the negative 18th or something.
So just take mine thing for example. Okay, all right. Well, we're moving on from the snail thing. All right. That was riveting.
Right, yeah, okay,
that was
good.
Riveting. Actually,
I'm glad we're moving on.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna should we just wrap it up?
We could wrap it up.
Let's just wrap it up. This is the first episode. So the reason it's called the Down to Get Weird podcast is because one, like I said at the start, you don't know what to call a podcast because most podcast names are dumb. And I want to talk about everything.
DTGW.
Yeah, DTGW. We're not just gonna talk about this stupid crap all the time. Sometimes we'll talk. You
think this was stupid? We solved some major world problems.
We'll definitely talk world issues and scientists.
Maybe even a little Scientology.
Scientologies, different things of that. We're gonna talk about a lot of different things, and I'm gonna have lots of different guests on. But Keenan will probably be a regular on this podcast as well.
Oh, thank you,
so
kind
the
squire.
Down to Get Weird podcast. Let me just quickly preface this. So I know no one's gonna be listening or watching, but if they did, it's just something that I used to say to my friends when they would ask me if I wanted to hang out. I'd say I'm down to get weird, or I would text maybe like we say Keenan over here, and I'd say, yo, you down to get weird? And then that just means we're hanging out, and that's what we're doing right now. So that's the name. Don't want to explain it again. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna link all of Keenan McCurdy stuff down below. Make sure you give him a follow, like, sub, whatever all of his information is. Same with Rick the Rasslin Dad. Also, same stuff on this podcast. Thanks for watching /and/or listening. And we will reunite as a cohesion group of people.
Cohesive unit.
The next time. Thanks for listening.